No one noticed the old man on the sidewalk. Not the police. Not the shopkeepers. Not the hundreds of people who passed him every day. Until one boy stopped. And that moment of kindness quietly decided who would be rewarded and who would be forgotten. Most people live their entire lives unseen. Not because they hide, but because the world never really looks. Ayaan was one of them. He was 19, maybe 20. The kind of age where dreams should burn bright, yet his felt dim and fragile, like a candle fighting wind. He lived in a small rented room above a closed-down tailor shop, where the stairs creaked like they were tired of holding anyone's weight. Every morning, he woke before sunrise, washed his face with cold water, and stared at his reflection in a cracked mirror that split his face into pieces. He always looked the same, ordinary, forgettable, invisible. That was his life. Every weekday, Ayaan walked the same route to college. The same buses honked. The same shopkeepers shouted prices. The same smell of dust and diesel hung in the air. And on that route, always in the same narrow street, sat the old man. No one knew his name. He sat on the sidewalk as if the city had forgotten to erase him. His clothes were torn but clean, his beard untrimmed yet strangely neat. In his right hand, he held a string of old prayer beads, moving them slowly, endlessly, as if time itself passed through his fingers. People treated him like a crack in the road. They stepped around him. Sometimes over him. Some shoved him aside without even looking down. Some laughed and whispered insults under their breath. Others muttered, "He's just acting." All beggars are the same. Ayaan noticed him every day. And every day, he did nothing. Not because he was cruel, but because he was afraid of stopping. Afraid of being late. Afraid of becoming someone people stared at. Afraid of caring too much in a world that punished kindness with mockery. So he walked past. Until one morning, he didn't. That day, the city felt heavier. The sky was gray, low, pressing down like a warning. Ayaan was already late for class. His phone buzzed with missed messages. His heart raced as his steps grew faster. As he passed the narrow street, the old man's voice cut through the noise. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was tired. "Son, can you give me a glass of water?" Ayaan froze. The words weren't demanding. They weren't desperate. They sounded embarrassed. As if even asking was a burden. Ayaan glanced at his watch. 7 minutes late. His mind screamed, "Keep walking." His legs refused. Around him, people stared. Some slowed down. Others smirked, waiting to see what he would do. The city held its breath, not because it cared, but because it loved watching moments fail. Ayaan swallowed. Without a word, he turned back. He bought a bottle of water from a nearby stall and poured it into a plastic cup. His hands shook slightly as he handed it over. The old man accepted it with both hands, like it was something sacred. He drank slowly. Each sip felt deliberate. Meaningful. When he finished, he closed his eyes for a moment, as if thanking something unseen. Then he looked up at Ayaan, and for the first time, Ayaan noticed his eyes. They weren't empty. They were sharp. Calm. Deep. Eyes that had seen too much. The old man smiled gently and said, "May God give you what you don't even know how to ask for." The words landed softly, but they stayed. Ayaan felt awkward. Embarrassed. Unsure how to respond. He forced a small smile, nodded, and hurried away, his heart pounding harder than before. He reached college late. Missed the first lecture. got scolded. But none of it mattered. All day, the old man's eyes followed him in his thoughts, in his silence, in the strange weight pressing on his chest. Something about that moment felt different. Not heroic. Not dramatic. Just human. That night, Ayaan lay awake, staring at the ceiling. He wondered how many times someone had asked him for help and how many times he had walked past. He wondered how many lives brushed against his every day, unseen. And he wondered, quietly, uncomfortably, what kind of person he really was. The next morning, when Ayaan stepped onto the street again, he found himself looking ahead, not at his phone, not at the time, but at the sidewalk. At the place where the old man sat. And for the first time, Ayaan didn't feel like a passerby. He felt like someone standing at the edge of a story he didn't yet understand. One that was already watching him back. Ayaan didn't plan to stop again. That morning, he told himself it would be quick. Just a glance. Just to see if the old man was still there. Nothing more. But the moment he turned into the narrow street, his pace slowed. The old man sat in the same place as always, back against the wall, prayer beads resting in his palm. His posture was calm, almost deliberate, like someone waiting, not begging. For reasons Ayaan couldn't explain, the sight brought a strange sense of relief. He's still alive, Ayaan thought. The thought unsettled him. Ayaan stood there longer than he meant to. The city moved around him, footsteps, horns, voices, but the space between him and the old man felt oddly separate, like a pocket of silence carved out of noise. Finally, Ayaan spoke. "Did you eat today?" The question surprised even him. The old man looked up slowly, as if trying to understand whether the words were real. His fingers stopped moving over the beads. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then his shoulders dropped, just slightly. "No one has asked me that in years," he said. The sentence carried more weight than hunger. It sounded like a confession. Ayaan felt something tighten in his chest. Without another word, he turned and bought a simple breakfast, bread and tea, nothing special. When he returned, the old man accepted it with both hands, the same careful reverence as before. They ate in silence. Not an awkward silence. A comfortable one. That day, Ayaan left late again. And that night, he couldn't stop thinking about how easily silence had turned into connection. The next day, Ayaan brought tea again. The day after that, bread. Sometimes, all he brought was time. He began sitting beside the old man for a few minutes before class. They didn't talk much at first. When they did, it wasn't about the past or the future, just small observations. The weather. The noise. How people never looked where they were going. Ayaan noticed things others missed. The old man never asked for money. He never raised his voice. He never complained. But he watched. He watched people with a patience that felt unnatural, like he was studying something he already understood. People noticed Ayaan too. Not in a good way. A shopkeeper scoffed one morning. Why waste food on him? A group of boys laughed as they passed. Trying to look kind for attention? Even Ayaan's friends warned him. Careful. These people are professionals. Ayaan didn't argue. Because arguing would mean explaining, and he didn't know how to explain something that felt instinctive. Kindness had stopped feeling like a choice. It had become a habit. One morning, rain poured down hard, soaking the street. Ayaan rushed out with an umbrella, scanning the sidewalk instinctively. The old man was there, completely exposed. Ayaan walked straight to him and held the umbrella over both of them. Their shoulders almost touched. The old man glanced up at the umbrella, then at Ayaan, and smiled. "You don't have to do this," he said gently. Ayaan shrugged. "I know." The old man chuckled softly, a sound like dry leaves stirring. For the first time, he spoke more than a few sentences. "People think being seen makes them important," he said. "But being ignored teaches you everything about the world." Ayaan listened carefully. "When no one expects anything from you," the old man continued, "you see who people really are." The words stayed with Ayaan long after he left. Days turned into weeks. Ayaan began planning his mornings around those few minutes on the sidewalk. He started carrying extra change, extra food. Not out of guilt, but because it felt right. The old man never asked his name. And Ayaan never asked his. It felt unnecessary. Some bonds didn't need labels. Then one evening, something changed. Ayaan stayed late at college. The sun had already set when he reached the narrow street. The shops were closing. Shadows stretched long across the pavement. The old man was still there. But something was wrong. His breathing was heavier. His hands trembled. The prayer beads lay motionless. Ayaan knelt beside him. "Are you okay?" The old man looked at him, eyes dark in the fading light. "Tell me something," he said softly. "If tomorrow I wasn't here, would anyone notice?" The question hit like a blow. Ayaan opened his mouth, but no words came. Because the answer scared him. Before Ayaan could respond, sirens wailed in the distance. A fire truck rushed past the end of the street. Smoke rose somewhere far away. The old man followed the sound with his eyes. "The city burns every day," he murmured. "People just don't always see the flames." That night, Ayaan walked home uneasy, the old man's question echoing in his head. If tomorrow he wasn't here. The next morning, the street was blocked off. Police tape. Smoke. Chaos. And the sidewalk was empty. The smell of smoke lingered in the air long after the fire was gone. Ayaan stood at the entrance of the narrow street, staring at the yellow police tape stretched across it. Ash drifted like gray snow, settling on broken glass and scorched walls. The place felt unfamiliar, like a memory rewritten overnight. And the sidewalk was empty. The space where the old man had always sat was nothing more than blackened concrete. Ayaan's chest tightened. He ducked under the tape. A police officer barked, "Hey! You can't be here." "I'm just looking," Ayaan said, his voice low. The officer studied his face for a second, then turned away. Ayaan walked slowly, each step heavier than the last. No prayer beads. No cup. No trace. It felt wrong. As if the street itself had lost something important. People whispered around him. He must have died. Probably ran away. These beggars disappear all the time. Disappear. The word echoed. Ayaan crouched near the wall where the old man used to sit. He touched the ground, still warm in places, like the fire hadn't fully let go. His fingers brushed against something small. A single wooden bead. The prayer beads. His throat tightened. The days that followed felt hollow. Ayaan kept walking the same route, even though there was no reason to anymore. Every morning, he slowed down at the empty sidewalk, half expecting the old man to reappear, as if the disappearance were just a test of patience. But the street remained silent. No one asked questions. No one filed reports. No one cared. Except Ayaan. At college, he struggled to focus. Words blurred on pages. Conversations faded into noise. His friends noticed the change. "You look exhausted," one of them said. Ayaan nodded, unable to explain that he felt like he had lost someone without ever knowing their name. At night, the old man's question haunted him. "If tomorrow I wasn't here, would anyone notice?" Ayaan knew the answer now. On the fourth day, something unusual happened. As Ayaan left campus, he noticed an unusual crowd near the city's largest hospital. Black cars lined the road. Security guards stood stiff, scanning faces. Police controlled traffic. Reporters adjusted cameras, whispering urgently into microphones. Ayaan slowed. Curiosity pulled him closer. A large digital screen had been set up outside the hospital entrance. People gathered in silence, sensing importance even if they didn't understand it. The screen flickered. A photo appeared. Ayaan's breath caught. It was the old man. But not as he knew him. His hair was neatly trimmed. His beard shaped. He wore a clean white suit. His posture was straight. His eyes, those same sharp, calm eyes, looked directly into the camera. The crowd murmured. The reporter's voice cut through the silence. This morning, the city lost one of its greatest benefactors. Ayaan's heart pounded. Dr. Ibrahim Khan, philanthropist, hospital founder, and humanitarian, passed away peacefully last night. The name hit him like a blow. Dr. Ibrahim. The screen changed. Images flashed, hospitals built, children treated, shelters funded. Billions donated quietly, without headlines. Ayaan felt dizzy. The reporter continued, in the final years of his life, Dr. Ibrahim chose to live among the poorest. Disguised, unnamed. To understand humanity without status. Ayaan's legs weakened. The old man's words echoed back. When no one expects anything from you, you see who people really are. The crowd was silent now, then the screen changed again. New text appeared. Before his passing, Dr. Ibrahim left one final instruction. Ayaan leaned forward, barely breathing. The individual who showed consistent kindness without knowing my identity is to be entrusted with my final mission. A photo appeared. Ayaan's face, taken from a street security camera. The crowd gasped. Ayaan felt the world tilt. A hand touched his shoulder. He flinched. A man in a dark suit spoke calmly. Ayaan? Ayaan nodded, his throat dry. Please come with us. Inside the hospital, the air was clean, cold, unreal. Hallways shone under white lights. Ayaan felt out of place, like he had walked into someone else's life. They led him into a private room. On the table lay something familiar. The prayer beads. Whole. A note rested beside them. Ayaan's hands trembled as he unfolded it. The handwriting was steady. If you are reading this, it means you noticed. That is rare. Ayaan swallowed hard. The world rewards performance, not character. You gave kindness without an audience. His vision blurred. I wanted to know who would care when nothing was promised. Now I know. Ayaan pressed the note to his chest. Outside the room, the city continued its noise. But inside, everything had changed. Ayaan sat alone in the private hospital room, the prayer beads resting in his palms. They felt heavier now, as if they carried not just wooden string, but weeks of silence, hunger, rain, and unspoken tests. The note lay open on the table, its words burned into his mind. You noticed. The phrase echoed. Not you helped. Not you saved. Just, you noticed. A soft knot broke the silence. The man in the dark suit returned, accompanied by a woman with calm eyes and a tablet in her hand. They introduced themselves as trustees of Dr. Ibrahim Khan's foundation. Their voices were measured, respectful, as if they were speaking to someone far older than Ayaan felt. "He didn't choose you because you were kind once," the woman said. "He chose you because you were kind consistently." They explained everything. Dr. Ibrahim had known his time was limited. Instead of spending his final years surrounded by comfort, he chose invisibility. He lived among those the city erased, observing how people behaved when there was nothing to gain. No cameras. No applause. No reward. "Most people failed," the man said quietly. "They didn't fail by being cruel. They failed by pretending he didn't exist." Ayaan lowered his eyes. He remembered how close he had come to doing the same. Later that day, Ayaan stood at the edge of the sidewalk where it had all begun. The street was clean now. Repaired. Normal. People walked past, unaware that something important had once sat there, breathing quietly. Ayaan knelt and placed the prayer beads against the wall. For a moment, he closed his eyes. He didn't pray for money. He didn't pray for power. He prayed to remain the same person he had been when no one was watching. Weeks passed. The city buzzed with news of Dr. Ibrahim's legacy. Articles praised his brilliance. Speeches honored his generosity. Buildings bore his name. But few mentioned the experiment. Few mentioned the sidewalk. Ayaan attended meetings now. He sat in rooms he never imagined entering. People listened when he spoke, nodded when he made decisions. The attention felt heavy, uncomfortable. One evening, after a long day, Ayaan returned to the narrow street. A new man sat there. Younger. Thinner. Eyes fixed on the ground. People walked past. Ayaan stopped. He didn't hesitate. He sat down beside him. The man looked up, surprised. Ayaan handed him a cup of tea. The man whispered, "Why?" Ayaan smiled gently. "Because someone once asked me if I had eaten." Under Ayaan's guidance, the foundation changed direction. Less focus on headlines. More on presence. Volunteers were sent not just to deliver food, but to sit, to listen, to learn names. He instructed them. Don't film. Don't post. Don't announce. Just be there. Some questioned him. People won't know what we're doing. Ayaan replied calmly, the ones who matter will. Years later, long after the city had moved on, a small plaque appeared in the narrow street. It didn't carry a famous name. It read, "Here sat a man the world ignored. And a boy who chose not to." People passed it every day. Most didn't stop. But some did. And that was enough. Moral. The world rewards visibility. But life rewards intention. Kindness done for attention fades. Kindness done in silence echoes forever. Not everyone you pass is ordinary. Some are watching. Some are testing. And some are simply waiting to be seen.